Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, The Life of Nina. Today, I'm still not feeling the greatest, so I thought I would tell you a story about the Kool Aid House. And the Kool Aid House was our house. We lived at the end of a dead-end street, and at the top of the street was my school. Well, it was getting to be the time of year that I thought that it was almost summer break time, I believe. And for some reason, I was in second, third grade, I think. I thought it was time to go home for the day. I didn't have any idea that it was just the lunch bell that had rang. And I'm not sure why I thought that, unless I had that summer fever, you know, as they called it. So anyway, I got my stuff together, walked down the big hill to the house, got home, and I seen Dad. He was out in the driveway working on the car. And he was a little confused as why I was home. Well, I didn't have any idea that I was home at the wrong time. I thought he was the one that was messed up because he should have been at work. He worked second shift about all of our lives, so he was always gone before we got home from school. So Mom comes out of the house and she's like, "What are you doing home?" And I'm like, "Isn't it time to come home?" Well, it turned out to be a really good thing because I was allowed to stay and eat lunch with Dad and Mom before Dad left for work. I always wondered if I should try that trick again to be able to see Dad for lunchtime, but I never did. I just, stayed at school the way I should have. So the reason I call it, and everyone called it, the Kool Aid House, is because all of our neighbors that lived on that dead-end street, almost all of them, had children, like 2, 3, 4, 5 children. And we had a blast growing up there. It was so fun. We actually had street lights, and a lot of the other places didn't have them. Our road was like a concrete road. It was really nice to play on, and with it being a dead end, there was no cars coming down there unless they belonged down there, So us kids would get out, and even during when we were in school, after our homework and stuff, we were allowed to go out and play, and it was honestly the best childhood I can ever imagine. None of us in that neighborhood were wealthy. We were just all of our parents, I don't think any of our moms worked except for one. But all the parents, the men all worked, most of them worked second shift, and the kids we would just have a blast. My oldest brother, because my youngest brother wasn't born then, we would, we had fields all around the house, and we had a great big creek that was down the hill from our house, and we lived, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the Kingwood Center video that I had put on, but it's like a mansion, and it's in our hometown, and where I grew up at, and we lived really close to that. We could walk down the railroad tracks and be able to get up in Kingwood Center's property, and it was beautiful, a huge mansion, and we used to pretend that we lived there, and we had a blast. So anyway, as I was saying about the Kool Aid House, all of the neighbor kids would congregate at our house, and my mom always made Kool Aid. Every day we drank Kool Aid, and excuse me. And in the summertime, the kids would all come over. We would play ball games. Like I said, my brother and the other guys in the neighborhood would build really nice tree forts where, they would hold a whole bunch of us kids up in them. It was just so fun. I had a favorite tree. It's a great big, I think it was a maple tree. And I used to go in that maple tree, I think being, let's see, I was the third child at that, always the third child, but at that time I only had a baby sister, and I would go up in that maple tree just to get away from everybody. I would sit up in that maple tree, and I would sing, and I would make up songs, and then Mom said that she could always tell when I was trying to get in the mulberry tree when they were ripe, because I would come home and I'd be the only kid that had the purple hands and feet, because I was always barefoot, and I would climb up in that tree and eat my fill of mulberries. So, I haven't had any mulberries like that, I don't believe, since I was a little girl. I'm going to have to find me a mulberry tree next summer. So, like I said, it was so fun. We would go down and we would, I don't even know what this place was, and I still don't to this day, but we would all walk down through the creek, and it wasn't deep. It was just a perfect creek to, you know, get your feet and legs wet, and we would all march down through the creek. And then there was an area that before you got to the Kingwood Center area that we called the falls, but I truly don't know exactly what it was. It looked like a, I guess it would be like a falls, but it was like man-made, and it was almost like a dam. It dammed up some water down at the bottom, but the only thing is you had to be careful, because if you jumped off the top, which was, it was all concrete wall going down, and in the water there was, as I remember, 2 or 3 sections of wide concrete that was all the way to the ground. So if you jumped, you had to be very careful not to jump toward those concrete things, or, you know, you were going to get hurt. And, you know, we did that all the time every summer, and I don't remember anyone ever getting hurt in that water. But us kids would jump and just play in the deeper water at the bottom. Of course, Mom would go down with us, and she was about the only mom, and still yet, you know, she's 77, and she likes to get out and play with the kids, her great-grandkids now. But, yeah, at the time, she went with us a lot of places, because she was the youngest acting parent, you know, just had a blast. She would pack lunches, peanut butter sandwiches and stuff, and we had Kool Aid, like I said, and we would have huge neighborhood baseball games, and everybody in the neighborhood, even most of the parents, on the weekends we would have huge games. And I'm telling you what, it was the best. If you ever think of like a movie and you think of the All-American Home or All-American Neighborhood, we would have been voted #1. We hardly ever fought and carried on with each other. I think I only remember one argument with my best friend at that time, and it was, I think someone put us up to arguing. You know, when you're little, someone might say, well, she said this about you, and I don't even remember what it was about. But that's the only argument I can remember ever getting into. So now it's kind of a sweet, precious thing, because when my dad passed away almost 2 years ago, that girl, my old best friend, came to my dad's calling hours, and I recognized her right away. She had not really changed, other than became prettier and more grown up. And she said she wouldn't have recognized me. She was just there to see if she could find me. And I guess because I've gained so much weight, you know, it really changes the way you look. But it was so good seeing her. And then I was trying to think, there was somebody else. Oh, another one of the neighbors that lived right beside us. I'm still in contact with her through Facebook, and she's been in Texas for a long time. So it's really cool, because we have memories that we have shared with, you know, with all of our friends when we were young, and we remember them. We didn't have skateboards. I don't know if they even had them at that time. If they did, we didn't have any. But almost everybody had bicycles, and we would get up on our bikes and ride down that hill, and it would go fast, especially being a child. You know, you were going really, really fast. But when we went down, we had moved away, and I remember looking back, and I remember crying. It was one of those moves that I didn't want to move. And when I grew up, I went back to that neighborhood, and the little house that we lived in had been tore down, and behind it had been built a daycare center. And when they built that, they ended up cutting down the trees, and they cut down the mulberry and the tree that I climbed all the time. And I'm telling you, as a grown woman, I have to admit, I pulled over on the side of the road, and there was no one around, and I had myself a good cry, because that was memories that, yeah, memories can't be taken away, but just knowing that the tree and all that was gone, it just kind of hurt my heart, you know. And most of the neighbors have moved away. There were a couple that were still there. I looked on mailboxes, and some of them still had the last names on them, but I didn't stop and see anybody. I didn't think they would ever remember me. You know, I was just a young girl. So, all right, it's been 10 minutes, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the story. I'm feeling a little better. I wanted to tell you what's been going on is I have had vertigo. I'd never had it before. My back was hurting yesterday, and my sweet hubby decided he would rub my back for me, and I laid in the living room floor and he was rubbing my back, and when I tried to get up, it was the most horrible feeling. I could not get anything to stop spinning, and I finally, was forcing my eyes open, and I finally made it to the couch and got up, but I was deathly sick, like nauseous beyond belief, and I've been having other symptoms. I'm going to the heart doctor on October 2nd, so I was kind of worried. But then when I woke up this morning, my left ear, which I had a what is it called, a busted eardrum when I was young, and it had healed, but it's still, the scarring is still on that ear, and my hearing is not quite as good in that ear. But when I woke up and I was laying on my left side, I could feel a drainage coming out of my ear, not like rushing out, but I could feel a movement of drainage. And so I got up and cleaned my ear, and I'm feeling a lot better. So I'm thinking that maybe it was plugged or something, maybe. But so I just want to tell you, I'm doing better. I'm sorry I keep saying I think it's because I just wanted to try to get this story told and not take too long, because I know if you just take your time, people just don't want to listen that long. So I hope you enjoyed it, and there I am again. I will hopefully see you tomorrow. God bless everybody, and have a great, great day. It looks like the sun's shining out there, and maybe I'm going to get outside and enjoy it a little bit today, I hope. So see you later. Bye.